Hey everybody, this is Jeff Newton. It's about midnight here on Monday night, soon to be Tuesday morning, and I just had a video that I wanted to put out for MAGA. Uh, I wanted them to understand this conflict a little bit better, and I think it's gonna be a good lesson. You guys can stick around and watch it if you want to, but we're just gonna give them some lessons, okay? You see this right here? Let's just talk about this right here. There we go. Can you see my pointer? Yeah, we're going to keep it super simple for those guys in MAGA who don't have a degree or maybe geography lesson. This is the Strait of Hormuz. You see this little spot right here? That's the Strait of Hormuz. When Donald Trump attacked Iran, the Strait of Hormuz was closed down by the Iranian military. Do you remember a couple of years ago when you were kicking Biden's ass over the price of gas? Remember that? It got about $3 a gallon. You were like, whoa, what are we going to do? And you would have to spend probably 30 or 40 cents more to fill up your tank. Well, now the price of gas has gone way up. Have you noticed at the pump? You know, some places it's like $4 or $5 a gallon. Some states like California, it's even more. But I know you're just worried about your states down in the red country, in the southern part of the country. But this area right here, Strait of Hormuz, is where all the gas comes through, all the oil, okay? So let's just look at this place right here. You see this whole thing right here? This is what I call a fucking hornet's nest. You got Iran, which we're attacking, boom, 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 boom. And you've got Saudi Arabia, where we attacked Iraq from in the first Gulf War, Saudi Arabia. We went boom, 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 boom. Okay, keeping it simple for you guys, keeping it simple. See that? Now, this is actually Kuwait over here, this little place right here, that's Kuwait. And that happened, remember that first Gulf War we had? Yeah, there was a female who worked for the Bush administration, and Saddam Hussein went to her and said, what would be the position of the United States if we were to take over Kuwait? And she said, we don't have a position on it. Took no position, neutral. So he attacked it. He attacked it and took over their oil fields, and we had to start a fucking war to fix it. Another Republican genius move. First George Bush administration had to fix it. Yeah, that he started it because his ambassador was an idiot. So if you ever wonder why it's important to have good ambassadors, and maybe not convicted criminals like the guy we have in Britain, or idiots like we have in Canada, or football players in places like Barbados or Bahamas or whatever, our old football buddy from Georgia is taking over. It's really important that you have smart people in these positions. Believe it or not, it's not just for nothing. Anyways, I digress a little bit there. That war cost a lot of lives, and a decision that was made cost a lot of lives. But let's look back at these countries again. This place makes a lot of oil. This place makes a lot of oil, Kuwait. This place, lots of oil, Qatar. This place, United Arab Emirates, lots of oil. Oman, oil. So, I forgot Iraq. It's got lots of oil in Iraq. These two places specifically here. And by the way, you got Syria up here. So you have, and then Israel and Gaza. Look at this whole area. Look at this whole area. This is crazy town. And we're fighting a war there. And then you've got Afghanistan right next door over here with the Taliban. You remember those guys? Taliban, okay? And then you've got Pakistan. You might remember Pakistan because they attacked our embassy the other day, our consulate, right? So Afghanistan with the Taliban, Pakistan where they attacked our consulate, Iran where we're attacking, all these places, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman, these are our big oil producers, as well as Iraq and Kuwait, a little sliver over here. And they all have to fucking put all the oil in their tankers and take their little boats, see these little boats, woo, 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 and go through the fucking Strait of Hormuz. It's 21 miles wide, okay, at its narrowest point. But the shipping lanes are only like 2 miles wide. So you know what that means? While we're fighting a war there and the Iranians cut off the Strait of Hormuz because they're on this side, you see the geography there? And then you have Oman as a little sliver right here. So these are not international waters. These are waters controlled by Oman and Iran. So they shut that shipping lane down, it's only 2 miles wide. And you know what that means? That means out here, you've got hundreds of ships trying to get through. Around 400, they can't go anywhere. And some of them are inside here, trying to get out. And they can't get out either because the Straits of Hormuz are closed. Congratulations, Donald Trump and all you fucking MAGA people who support him. Because when you were bitching about the price of a few pennies of gas that went up under the Biden administration, now it's going up exponentially. Let's go through some graphs here. I have a better map here, but we've already gone over that, so we don't need that map. Okay? Let's just give me a second to catch up. The ships that are able to go through here, there are a few ships able to go through there. Not the big, powerful United States. None of their ships are getting through. Guess who's getting through? Chinese. The Chinese are getting through because they're not fucking with anybody. So if you have a Chinese flag on your ship or you have a Chinese crew, they go right on through. They just turn off their instrumentation so nobody sees them, and the Iranians don't mess with them. They go right on through. Some of their ships, like ships from Liberia, are also going through. That's right. The most powerful country in the world can't get their oil, but other people can. But not many of them. There's not many that have gone through. We'll just go through a couple. The Shenglong Suez tanker, operated by Greece Dynacom Tanker Management. That vessel was carrying $1 million of Saudi crude, switched off its transponder on March 4th and went right on through. The Iron Maiden, yeah, that was a Chinese owner, listed as a Chinese owner, right on through. The Sino Ocean, it's a bulk carrier, Liberian flagged, Chinese owned and operated. Went straight through the Straits of Hormuz, leaving the UAE port in UAE on March 7th. The Bagazitsi successfully passed through after broadcasting that it was Muslim-owned and Turkish-operated. Those guys are getting through too. The Muslim-owned and Turkish-operated one got through. The Guanyang cargo ship, a Panamanian-flagged vessel, went through on March 9th after signaling that it was a Chinese owner. China cut a deal with them. Can you imagine? Their oil keeps on coming and ours doesn't. Our prices go right up. The price of oil on Sunday night, it reached $120 a barrel. Isn't that amazing? What about all those discussions about Joe Biden and the price of oil? I'm listening. I'm waiting. Tell me all about it. Huh? About 6 months ago, the price of oil was about $56 a barrel. So when we start wars with other countries, you've heard me talk a little bit about second and third order effects. Well, this is a second and third order effect, isn't it? You attack somebody, they shut off the shipping lanes, and everybody's gas goes up. Oh, and Americans get killed too. That happens. Yeah. You wouldn't really know it by the way they seem to celebrate it. If you saw Chuck Grassley this morning, he took a grip and grin yesterday of these bodies coming home, these Iowans who were killed, and he and everybody in the picture were smiling. Isn't that great? Because dead bodies, nothing like coffins going by with dead bodies to make the Iowa delegation smile. So that's the rules. If you're Chinese, you go through. If you're not Chinese, you don't. Now, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, you know him, the guy who stumbles, and you remember you guys made so much fun of Joe Biden because he stuttered. Scott Bessent, when he's sitting in front of Congress, he stutters a lot because he's lying all the time. In this case, he said that there's going to be support for tanker safety. Amid rising tensions with Iran, disruptions of global oil flow, Bessent announced that the U.S. government would step into support, including U.S. Navy escorts, potentially. There's nothing that makes tankers want to go through someplace than potentially being escorted. And U.S. Navy escorts would help them with safe passage, potentially. But he's also assured that, listen to this, the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation would provide political risk insurance and financial guarantees to encourage ship owners to continue transit. There's nothing I would like more if I was working on a ship full of oil to see my ship attacked by Iranian drones. Wouldn't that be interesting? Attacked by Iranian drones and blow up and you're sitting on 1 million barrels of oil or more. That would be, so the business would keep flowing to the United States and we get our oil and you guys would save a few pennies, maybe a couple dollars on each tank. But the guys on the tankers, they'd all get killed, right? Because the fucking thing would blow up and go to the bottom of the ocean. That's okay. It's all about us. Maybe we can ask Scott Bessent how a deal like that like that might take shape, right? Because these guys aren't worth anything. You know, we'll just escort them through, maybe, and we'll insure them so that the oil gets through. If they live or die, at least the company that owns the boat's insured. What a nice guy Scott Bessent is. Total vessels waiting. Reports indicate over 700 are queuing up in the area, okay? That's according to Bloomberg and Morningstar. 700. Yeah. Tanker traffic has dropped by 90%, with only a handful of ships successfully navigating the strait. 400 to 700. That sure sounds like a choke point to me. It's kind of like a traffic jam in Los Angeles, except with the entire world's oil supply waiting. Now, in terms of turning the war itself, Donald Trump said today, let's just say exactly what he said so we don't get anything out of whack. Don't like to misquote him or anything, right? Trump said at a news conference in Florida this morning, he said that war was going to end soon. He said it's very complete, pretty much. That was his exact quote. It's very complete, pretty much. We don't know what complete means because some days he wants to do regime change and some days he doesn't. Some days he wants to get rid of their nuclear capability and some days he wants to do both, but we don't know. He's not really clear on that. But he says it's pretty complete, pretty much. Okay, very complete, pretty much. We're very far ahead of schedule, which we have no idea what the schedule is because he's not really telling us what he's trying to accomplish. And they've gotten rid of, remember we talked about that a little bit? They've gotten rid of the entire Pentagon press corps. So anybody trying to ask him questions about what pretty much means or what the war's objectives are, they don't really know and he doesn't really say. But that's okay because it's just our taxpayer dollars trickling away at at least $1 billion a day, and maybe even more if you count in the gas and all the stuff that it's not including that number. But, you know, and not to mention Americans getting killed. But it's pretty much complete. I wonder how many lives are going to be lost before it's fully complete. In an interview with CBS, yeah, that's when he said they were far ahead of schedule. I wanted to give CBS a little credit because, you know, I've been beating the shit out of CBS, and apparently they're able to get Trump on the phone when nobody else really is. Why is that? Barry Weiss, you have all those connections with the Trump administration. You're not too close to the story, are you? You're not too close to Donald Trump and all the people in there that your people can get him right on the phone? Wow. I mean, it's good to get the information, but you're a little close, don't you think? Barry Weiss, editor-in-chief of CBS, just in case you guys didn't remember that. Okay, so after the markets closed today, after Trump said that he thinks they're pretty much close to done, the markets took the oil price back to about $85 to $90 a barrel, $85 a barrel, let's say. Okay? And then after the markets closed, he said all these things about what he plans on doing. We have one in many ways, but that's not enough, he said. One in many ways, but it's not enough. Well, Iranians had a little say in this too. Remember how we killed the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei? He was the supreme leader, and they killed him the first day of the war. And then we talked about regime change, and you know we hoped that they would make regime change, and the people there would have regime change. I'm sure the Republican Guard would agree with that, right? Because you killed the leader, and you're just going to have regime change. Well, today they decided that the new supreme leader was going to be Khamenei's son. Yes, they replaced him with another member of the family. So successful mission so far, Donald. It'd sort of be like if something happened to you, and everybody said, well, Don can take over, Don Jr. can take over, or Eric, or maybe your son-in-law, you know? So you haven't really done what you hope to do with the regime change thing, have you? So I don't know if you're going to keep going or not keep going, but they're probably going to keep the same family running the country. So $1 billion a day, a handful of American lives lost, and depleting our weapons supply while China laughs at us in the process. So congratulations so far. Caroline Leavitt, by the way, said recently on, I think it was Fox News, that Donald hasn't taken the draft off the table, which sounds really strange considering you're saying that this is almost complete, almost done. You haven't taken the draft off the table. This is something we haven't used since Vietnam. You're really breaking records, aren't you? Barron would be great for the draft. He's 6'9". I know he's a little tall. He couldn't be in a fighter jet, but he'd be great for the infantry. Barron, Don Jr., Eric, Jared even. They're all serving age, I think. And that would be great, right? Because all the rich kids need to go to conflicts, just like you did. Oh, shit, you didn't go. You had 5 draft deferments yourself for that foot that you could never walk on, except you walk on it every day playing golf. On the Live Golf Tour, owned by the Saudis. On the same courses, right? You got a couple courses with the Live Golf Tour. Yeah, and you're out there playing golf with everybody on that bad foot. I don't know, have you ever made it through life with that bone spur? So I guess your kids might have the same kind of bone spurs, right? You got a doctor that could show that if you draft people? Yeah. Okay. A couple more quick notes. I'm trying to be fast. I know I'm at 15 minutes here. Oh, oil production. Just to give you guys an idea of how wonderful a job he's doing, your man, you MAGA people, oil production in the Gulf in Iraq is down 60%, and countries similarly around it. Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, they're all cutting their production similarly because they can't store it. There's not enough room to store the stuff they keep pumping, so they just have to stop. And the ships can't get in or out. So these prices are going to go up unless he ends this thing real quick. There's one thing that makes Donald Trump move, and that's bad economic news. So we'll see. We'll see. He always says that, right? We'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Here's a graph for you. Can you guys see this graph? Yeah. See that line here? That's where oil used to be 6 months ago. And here's where, after Donald invaded, where it went. Look at that. That went to 95. And actually, this was prior to Sunday. Actually, this oil price went to 120 and then today dropped back down to 85 right here. So it's only $85 a barrel. But then again, they hadn't taken into consideration that after the bell rung and oil futures weren't being traded in New York, that he was going to say some more dumb shit. So I'm really anxious to see what happens on Tuesday. Let's talk about some other things real quick. I don't know why we're fighting there. You know? I mean, what reasons could we have? Do you think there's any conflicts of interest between the Trump administration and any of these countries? Let's go back to the map real fast. That map, so useful. Just for a minute. See all these countries right here. These countries here and here have wealth funds, investment funds, and they've given the Trump family hundreds of millions of dollars. If you include Jared Kushner in there, I know he's a stepson and all that, you know, or son-in-law and all that. It's in the billions of dollars they've given him, billions. So they have an interest. The Trump family has an interest in these places. But not only just that, but just the other day, well, let's just be more specific here. Jared Kushner's private equity firm Affinity Partners received $2 billion in investments from the Saudi Public Investment Fund in 2022, with additional contributions from Qatar and the UAE totaling $1.5 billion. That's $3.5 billion to a guy. What are we going to say about Jared? $3.5 billion. Trump Organization, led by Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, has partnered with real estate company Dar Global for projects in Riyadh, Dubai, and Muscat, including $4 billion in a resort in Oman. These guys really love the Middle East, don't they? Yeah. They really want stability in the region. Wonder why. So much business. We're not even going to get into their cryptocurrency and how much they've invested through the Trump administration into the Trump administration's cryptocurrency business, but it's a lot of money. Remember when they talked about how this stuff needs to be in a private trust, a blind trust, so Donald doesn't know how it's being invested and his family kind of stays out of that? Well, they're just going at it. Chutes and ladders, aren't they? So when you guys talk about, you know, what this administration is doing, right now, they're making lots of money. And right now, everything in your life is going up. Your gas prices are going up. Your energy prices are going up because he hates that solar and that wind. Boy, that sounds like a really smart move now, huh? I think you heard me say the other day, what doesn't cost money to go through the Strait of Hormuz? It's wind and sunshine. But Trump doesn't like wind and sunshine. For some reason, he likes oil. He's really working hard with the oil. Yeah. Wind and sunshine bad, oil good. So we're fighting with Iran. You guys, like, follow, and share. You know, I know you guys, you MAGA people, like to follow and share me too. You know, I see your comments on there every now and then. Usually you put memes on there because you don't know how to write full sentences. Anyways, to my community that watches me and subscribes to my Substack, like, follow, and share on Facebook, From the Writer's Cabin on Facebook, and my personal account on Facebook. But really, head on over to Substack, and if you like what we're saying, support what we're doing, because it's not free. I'm working here, it's midnight, and we're trying to get something out. And tomorrow, we're going to do more fun stuff. So we'll see what we can do tomorrow. Anyways, thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks, MAGA, for tuning in.